So, good morning to all of you. To continue the discussion of this Module 5, in the last session we discussed about optical network node and switching elements. Still some things to be discussed here. So, we are observing here or focusing on how the node, optical node itself can be used for multiple functions. How it is going to serve different functions through the optical medium. In figure A, you are watching it as a 1:2 splitter where a multiplexed signal is split into two different wavelengths. In figure B, it is acting like 2:1 multiplexer. Figure C, a symbolic representation of our OADM, optical airdrop multiplexer. But it is limited with adding or dropping only one specified signal. So in figure D, it is acting like a switching element or a router where we are going to uh, able to get odd numbered or even numbered wavelengths out from this ports 3 and 4. ROADM, that is a reconfigurable OADM, uh, provides an option to drop or to add multiple wavelengths or channels as per the desire. In a passive manner, it is implemented with fiber back grating and optical circulators as previously discussed in the last module. But it is not going to support, these nodes are not going to support the mesh topology because of its complexity in nature. We have seen that the mesh topology, where all nodes are interconnected, requires a more number of or increased number of optical links. That is a costlier affair, but the advantage is that each conversation will be allowed parallelly. To support with this ROADM, in order to make this ROADM to support this mesh topology, will be depending on this uh, optical cross connect, that is known as OXC. You can see here we are including OXC block in between these two blocks, demultiplexer and multiplexer section. So in case of optical switch, now we are going to use optical cross connect. So it is going to support your first generation and later generation technologies. So what this will do, it provides an interface between different transmission methodologies like SONET or SDH or IP or ATM. ATM means asynchronous transmission mode. It is going to provide you the cross connection between the nodes here. Again, there are different variations are there in OXC. Suppose if this one is going to provide the wavelength conversions between a set of wavelengths from the input to the output side, then it is known as a WIXC, that is known as a wavelength interchangeable cross connect. At a time, so here you can see this ROADM is going to give you the flexibility of a reconfiguring, means dropping or adding desired number of wavelengths. But at the same time, if you include this OXC, that is WIXC, along with adding and dropping, it will also allow you to do the wavelength conversions. Opaque OXC, if you include, it will allow optoelectronic conversions for the particular desired input signals. Transparent OXC will allows optical to optical wavelength conversion. Like that, you can use either of these or combination of them depending on the application. These are different types of OXC, and keeping this OXC as a main physical aspect between in place of this optical switch of ROADM, we can have two main categories of ROADM, including OXC, which is going to give you N by N optical switching fabric. Is going to with N by N optical switching fabric, it will be giving you two flavors, either with the physical connections. You can have the physical connections between input and output wavelengths. Means incoming wavelengths after doing these operations. Like suppose this block is indicating N by N optical switching fabric, and if you assume that it is including WXC, it is going to perform wavelength interchangeable cross connection. Means it is going to perform wavelength conversion from the desired input set of wavelengths, and after that, if it is desired, it can also do the multiplexing, then it will be sent out with a physical connection. In the similar manner, we can explain, suppose if this one is a N by N optical switching fabric, if you are including opaque or transparent OXC, it will provide the functionality like optoelectronic conversion or optical to optical wavelength conversion. After doing that, those converted wavelengths, if you desire them to be multiplexed, you can multiplex and send them as single signal, multiplexed signals. And this will be done virtual with virtual connections. That is known as a logical path we have discussed in the last session. That can be done with the help of the logical paths or interconnections. So this will be giving another way of interconnection between the input and output wavelengths with the inclusion of different flavors of the OXC in the N by N optical switching fabric. Means your this ROADM, we are making it to provide physical or logical interconnections, including OXC functionalities. Okay, like that, we are going to make ROADM to provide different functionalities of OXCs with the two broad functions, that is either with physical or logical interconnections. So next aspect we are going to discuss is the wavelength division multiplexed networks. So here you have seen we are multiplexing desired number of wavelengths and sending it after performing uh, either wavelength conversions or optoelectronic conversions or optical to optical wavelength conversions. We are multiplexing and sending it. Means our such supported wavelength multiplexed signals networks are known as wavelength division multiplexed networks, are broadly classified into broadcast and select networks and wavelength routing networks. This has got some drawback. That's why we are going to this wavelength routing networks. That will come to know after this one. Or basic broadcast and select network based on the star coupler, that is one of the type of this WDM network, will look like this. In the heart of this broadcast and select network, we'll have the star coupler. Its functionality already we have studied. You can go through that one. Star coupler means it is helping us to couple multiple incoming input wavelengths with multiple outgoing ports or receivers here, if you can say, or channels, like that. So it is called broadcast and select networks. Why? If you look at this figure, it merely consists of two sections here. One is, this is the transmission section, where it will just simply includes the fixed number of transmitters. Each transmitter is tuned to transmit a specified wavelength. For example, TX1 is going to transmit only wavelength lambda 1, like the TX2 is going to transmit lambda 2, so on up to TXN which is going to transmit lambda n. So all these different specified wavelengths, set of wavelengths from lambda 1 to lambda n, which are coming from the tuned fixed transmitters, are coupled by using this star coupler. Means it is going to multiplex them in that way, we can tell. It is waving in that way. Broadcast where it is coming, all these fixed transmitters are there, no tuned transmitters, the transmitter side. They are broadcasting these multiple wavelength signals, lambda 1 to lambda n. Yes, sir. So this star coupler is something function similar to the multiplexer here. It will be sent as single signal, then it will be decoupled or demultiplexed and sent to the respective tuned receivers, which are tuned to the specific respective wavelengths. So these are known as select networks. Here you will get broadcast concept. Means on one side you are broadcasting the signals from lambda 1 to lambda n. On another side you are going to select these signals with the tuned receivers. That's why it has got the name broadcast and select networks using star coupler. But while doing so, the broadcasted message is depleted in each receiver. What is happening is that if you are going to broadcast the signals at the same time with a short gap, then there is a possibility of loss of information as the number of nodes increases. Here you can say n means maybe 10 or 20. If it is coming in terms of thousands or lakhs, then there is a possibility of the loss of information. So this leads to the wastage of transmitted power. So in that case, we are going for wavelength routing networks. In wavelength routing networks, the concept involved is we are going to route, we are going to tell each wavelength specifically to which path it has to travel and how to reach the destination point. So it may cross a single node or multiple nodes. So that information will be told to specific wavelength and it will be made to travel through the dedicated path. So that can be done with the help of the wavelength routing networks. Under that, we got one concept that is widely adopted that is known as wavelength routing and assignment. If you look at this figure A, which shows a simple optical network consisting of 5 nodes A to E interconnected with these solid paths, physical connections. So this is a mesh topology where each node is interconnected. But there is one missing link between B and D, okay, that we can ignore right now. Now, if you look at this figure B, Between node A and B, if you just focus on node A and B, lambda 1 is the signal that you are telling it to travel from A to B. It will travel from A to B and stop there. Similarly, same this path, the physical path from that is interconnected between A and B, can be used to retransmit back lambda 2 from B to A. Means it is these two nodes A and B are configured in that way. Configured means A and B are configured in such a way that A is transmit able to transmit or send lambda 1 only from A to B, and B is able to send lambda 2 only from B to A through intermediate node E. Means if you send lambda 1 from A, it will reach B directly without any intermediate nodes. If you send lambda 2 from B, it will reach A indirectly through intermediate node E. Okay. So like that, we got different explanations here that you can include as a part of elaboration. So this is known as a routing and wavelength assignment. We are routing lambda 1 directly from A to B and is assigned to this path. Similarly, you are routing lambda 2 from B to A via node E. That is a wavelength assignment. Okay. Similarly, we can have your own explanations looking at the figure between B and C, what is happening. So B and C, you can see C, if it is going to send wavelength lambda 2, it is directly reaching to B with a dedicated path between them without any intermediate nodes. Similarly, lambda 1 is sent from C and it is reaching node E via node B. Means lambda 1 is, if it is sent from C, it is traversing intermediate node B, then reaching E. If it is lambda 2 is sent from C, it is directly reaching B. Like that, all the nodes are configured. I means they have been told, each node will be told for example, A node will be told which of the wavelengths you need to send directly to which node, destination node, which of the wavelengths you have to send indirectly to which of the destination nodes, like that. So that is the actual meaning of this routing and wavelength assignment concept. So this concept has been adopted in this wavelength routing networks. Hence they got the name wavelength routing networks because they are adopting this routing and wavelength assignment concept. So this is all about wavelength division multiplexed networks. The similar thing has been explained here. To simplify RWA, virtual topology is used. Means virtual or logical path connection will be used here. So as it has been shown here, again there are two types as we already discussed. This one is coming under wavelength routing networks. Again there are two types here under this one, single hop and multiple hop networks. Single hops, as already told here, if you are making it to travel without any intermediate nodes like lambda 1, it is reaching between from A to B without any intermediate node, that is known as a single hop network. And if it is reaching through multiple nodes, then it is known as a multi-hop networks. But now you can see it will be including all the type of transversals of the wavelengths. Some of the wavelengths are directly reaching without any intermediate nodes, and many of the wavelengths are reaching with intermediate nodes. Hence, it is coming under multi-hop wavelength routing networks. But what is the difference between these two? Single hop network provides direct transmission or communication between any two nodes that we already seen, lambda 1, and with the data in optical domain until it reaches the destination. So data will be retained until it reach the destination. It will not be lost. Whereas in multiple out network, transmission takes place through intermediate nodes and there is a possibility of loss of data because it has to transfer through intermediate node. So in intermediate node, some information will be lost, possibility will be there. So that is the difference between single and multiple hop networks, which are coming under wavelength routing networks. So next major concept that we have to discuss under this module is a public telecommunication network that has been deployed for the public service. So telecommunication network that has been deployed in the social aspect or a social purpose is known as a public telecommunication network. So this PSTN, Public Switch Telecommunication Network, this is also known as a PSTN. This I hope you all studied in digital switching system, DSS, digital switching systems, in the sixth semester, I think. So this is broadly categorized into three different layers: long haul or core layer, that is a top layer. The middle layer is known as a metropolitan layer, and the bottom layer is known as access layer. The long haul layer or core layer mainly comprising of optical cross connect uh, switchings which are interconnected with each other. Means it is going to follow, if you look at this one, each OXC a set of nodes are interconnected with each other. Means they are going to follow the mesh topology. And this is going to provide you the wide coverage from hundreds to thousands of kilometers. That's what is known as a long haul. Long haul means geographical. It is going to give you the meaning of geographical coverage. And to this, to support optical or electronic conversions, that feature can be supported with the help of the bottom metropolitan layer, where it normally comprises of optical airdrop multiplexers and are interconnected with the help of the ring topology. And it is going to provide you the range coverage up to tens of kilometers. So this in metropolitan here, lot of local exchange offices are coming here, which are interconnected with each other, and then that is going to make one metropolitan coverage. Like that, we'll be having many metropolitan area coverage. All such multiple metropolitan area coverage will be interconnected with the help of this long haul or core area network. Okay. So bottom of this metropolitan will be getting access network, where normally it includes uh, your remote nodes where users are connected, local exchange office, which is going to cover up to 20 kilometers. So all local exchange offices are interconnected with the help of this metropolitan, and all metropolitan with the optical electronic conversions will be connected with the help of the long haul or core network. So this is going to support voice data and video transmission. Okay. So this is the brief explanation about this PSTN. So to continue with this, the optical network transmission modes, layers and protocols. Normally, the optical infrastructure includes transparent optical network, which uses optical signal transmission, including nodes and stations. Nodes normally to which the users are connected, and multiple nodes will be interconnected with the help of the optical links, and multiple networks will be interconnected with the help of the stations. Stations are going to interconnect the networks, not the nodes. So to have reliable optical communication, optoelectronic devices or systems are required. So better use of physical structures or transmission types, some rules and protocols are made. So this makes network connections implementation more straightforward. Optical network, hence it will be upgraded with the new technologies or developments to follow improved service trends. So this one is optical network transmission mode, where we are going to see the first type of the optical transmission uh, modes, layers, or protocol based network, that is known as synchronous network. So this one you can see, this one is indicating less synchronous structure. It is also known as a PDH. I hope this one you already studied in DSS, that is known as a PDH, less synchronous digital hierarchy. So here you can see it is indicating 140 is to 34. Below this you can see the blocks which are supporting 34 is to 8, 8 is to 34, 34 is to 140, and each 8 is to 34 is supported 2 is to 8, and each 2 is to 8 is block is supported with individual nodes. So this one is actually based on the frame structure uh, that we can discuss in detail. The synchronous networks, ATM, asynchronous transfer mode, in detail in the next session. Let us stop now.